Well, good evening, everyone out there in YouTube land. What an interesting week. It's been fascinating because I have a show. I'm going to do some videos on Saturday. It's at a guy's house, so I've been working on my car a little bit and working some other people's cars, and I'll discuss that a little later. But I had gotten I had gotten a comment on. I put up a thing for this for Sideways 117 about literature about your car, and there's a lot of different things uh, we can talk about with that. You know, the one thing on old cars especially, and if I could actually get my camera to be like right, because geez, I didn't touch it and it did this. Okay, cool. Um, you know, literature in your car is a lot of different things. Like when I first got my charger, and this is like 30, almost 40 years ago, I got these types of books, the source books, and this volume one and two. And it's actually rather neat because what it has is all sorts of like old information, standard equipment, has a lot of the ordering stuff, advertisements, really neat things about the car and everything around it. It was kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see. Um, Articulate John, what is the car Bible in your opinion? Ooh, ooh. In what sense, though? In like for valuation, or just for figuring out like stuff about them? Because I also have this thing, a Hollander interchange book. Um, the Hollander interchange book is probably the greatest. If you can find one of these at a swap meet, buy it. If you have an old car, it has part numbers. It shows pictures of parts, and it has actually assemblies on here also. It is actually one of the greatest books ever made. This was used for repair shops and like for doing repairs after accidents, and it has full interchange, and it literally is hundreds, maybe even 1,000 pages of just information on every car make. It's actually a really great book. This is a great book to have. I would consider that like a Bible because you can actually, um, I should have put that up. You can actually find out a lot about the stuff that will fit your car with the Hollander. Now, you know, as it comes to your own model, um, online they have service manuals. I have a paper one. I've had this one for a while. This is a 71 Chrysler Plymouth Imperial. These are invaluable when you have a car. I don't care what you have. If you have a Ford, Chevy, AMC, Chrysler, BMW, I don't care. Get a copy of one of these. This will make your life a hell of a lot easier. It was made for people with high school educations to read. It's very simple. It's very useful. And the thing is, they also have the body service manual. And this is how I learned how to work on the sunroof on my car, because without this, you don't know how to work on the sunroof. That's why I watched those clowns on Graveyard Cars, that they didn't know how to do a sunroof on a 71 Challenger. And right here, the manual tells you how to work on these sunroofs. Look at that. It has a full setup, its own section. And it's rather useful. So those are kind of neat things to have. If you have an old car, even a new car, and there's a lot of websites after this goes, saved, I'll link like websites where you can actually find stuff. Uh, yes and no, Autobot. The internet is rife with garbage information. I honestly, I have seen things online that no. Um, when you go and you actually can find but you can find these manuals online. Like for the Chrysler, you go to mymopar.com. Mymopar.com has all those manuals, and you can go download them, and then you can print out pages. I actually have my manuals on CD. I've had them for 20 something years. And the neat thing about that is you can go and print the specific page with specific information and write on it and do all sorts of things to help you work on your car. Because those manuals are invaluable. I mean, seriously, they are invaluable when you have an old car, because it literally makes things simpler. It gives you torque specs. It gives you how things are assembled. It gives you the process for doing it. You can read up before you start working on your car to actually get the car done and not have surprises, because that's one of the things about working on a car is the plan. Having like a book like this, or an online or a PDF version or an online version, and not just having a forum tell you stuff, makes it a lot easier, because you can see for yourself how it's done, and you can see the procedure that the dealership would have done to fix the car. And and even with modern cars, if you can find actual stuff from their actual service manuals, oh my god, it will make your life so much easier. It's just one of those things. Actually, one of my favorite books is, this is Mopar specific, but you if you're interested in Mopars and you want to buy one, you need a book like this. There's also several other books from other companies. They're like little white books, whatever, that have details. Uh, this type of stuff will let you know if the car is kind of, you know, real the way it should be, because it has all the option packages in there, and a lot of these codes are on the fender tag. Some are on the broadcast sheet, but this will give you an idea what is actually going on. There's a white Gallon Glovier has white books that have really detailed information on part numbers and what should be on a like an RT charger, what you should be looking for part numbers on the engine block, things of that nature. Because you really, when you look at it, when you have an old car or you're looking for an old car, the more knowledge you have, the less chance you have of having a problem. And that really, it's not just about when you own the car; it's before you own the car. It's kind of helpful if you actually have information in hand, because it's very important. I mean, I really, I mean, I've been working on cars for a really long time. I've been working on cars now for almost 40 years, and I still go and use the manuals to look up things. Not that I don't know what I'm doing, it's just that it's really helpful when you look at it and go, "Oh wait, actually, I have one more book." Oh, I forgot about this one. Yeah. You have Dodge Charger, 71 to 70, 66 to 74. This is a pretty neat book too. Um, but when you go and you actually do stuff like that and look at parts, the way the things are put together, or if there is a sub-assembly, or if there's hidden bolts or whatever, it's really important to kind of go and be fresh in your mind, because I don't want to sit here and have to memorize how to do everything on the car. It's kind of one of those things in life where you just kind of kind of look at the procedure of how to do it and then go and do it. And this is not just for like for a tune up or an oil change. This is like if you have to, oh, I don't know, take apart the front of the engine and do like a water pump, and then all the torques that you need to do for to put all the bolts in back right. Even if you're just redoing the intake manifold, you know, looking up and make sure you're doing the torque specifications right. It's very important, so you don't have to commit it to memory, because it's kind of important to not just commit it to memory, but then also to kind of use it and and be able just to do it right. And the service manuals, these wonderful wonderful books, have all this neat stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the my little library of books. And sooner or later, I'm going to redo this office space of mine, hopefully this weekend, and I'll have all these books behind me on the shelf. So kind of the way it should be. So, but the one now I want to talk about something about, especially like about old cars. Actually, any that was impressive. I knocked myself out because my that was hilarious. I just knocked myself out. Good, great, grand. Okay. So I I'm going to talk about this. This is something that I dealt with today, or actually the past couple of days. It's a buddy of mine's car. This is his brake master cylinder, and I actually opened it just by happenstance because he said his brake pedal was kind of not coming back up. And I'm like, "Oh, great. Let me take a look and see what's going on. Maybe you're low on fluid or something." So I look it up, and see, brake fluid is not supposed to be the color of an espresso. Brake fluid is supposed to be kind of just brown. He had rust in these lines. Now, how did that happen? Well, these brakes were done 15 years ago, and this fluid has never ever been changed. Never, ever, never been changed. Honestly, he never worst of all, he never opened the master cylinder while looking at the car or bringing the car home. He never looked at it. Literally, just took the car home. And this is one of those things in life that when you go and you look, when you're going to go look at a car, bring someone with you, even if they aren't a car expert. Just bring someone with you to kind of take, because you're when you're looking at something, especially something like this. This is a GTX. If you're looking at a car that you've wanted and it's really exciting, go get it. You're gonna not do certain things. And one of the great things that this person did not do is he didn't like open the master cylinder to see how the brake fluid looked. I guarantee he didn't pull out the transmission dipstick to smell it. I bet he didn't pull out the oil dipstick to look at it and feel it. And these are like important things. Now, this is one of those maintenance things that people don't do. And it's just kind of weird that you have to flush if you have dot 3 or dot 4 brake fluid in your car, you need to flush it. Otherwise, it will look like this. I mean, this is horrifically, I mean, this is horrific. Look at that. That's horrifically bad. And it took us like 4 hours because there was a blockage from the amount of rust that was actually in this brake system. And best part of all, he was driving this car. He literally was driving this car. Let's see, what's this look like? That's not as good. He was driving this car with that. He had no back brakes in this car. And, this is one of those things in life where, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is danger, because he only had front brakes. So this is it's kind of crazy the way that it ended up going. and somehow or the other I got it flushed. Let's see what we got here. Um, Larry Mondello's shoes. Dennis, I had two brake calipers explode at a 3,500. Not at once, two different times. I clamped off the brake line with vice grips and got home safe. Exactly. See, that's the other fun part of doing mechanic stuff, and that is a great point there. Um, that sometimes you need to improvise when you have a car, and this is kind of a way mechanics get around things. Is that you may not have the ability to actually fix it right there, but get the car home. There's like a whole list of things you can use to actually get your car home. One of them is for a belt. You get a set of ladies' nylons, pantyhose, and you take pantyhose and you put them around the belt where you want them. Tie them off. Tie in a knot on the top side, nice and tight, and that will actually work well enough to get you home. Don't go crazy. Don't be hitting red line with it. Just kind of drive easy, and you should get home with that. It'll actually give you the ability to move it. Yes, blocking off the brake line, the soft line, um, and then you just drive really, really careful because now you're off balance braking because one wheel is not stopping. So if it's the right front caliber, the car's going to pull to the left or the truck's going to pull to the left because you only have that one caliper up front. If you lose the back ones, um, it's actually more balanced. The car will kind of be very front heavy, as this guy's car was. He said it was quite scary trying to stop it. He was wondering why, and it was just because, well, he had that. Actually, he had that. The front one there, the front one, that is his rear brakes. That is the goo that was like all up in there. It was actually kind of vile. And where I got the car well enough that we can use it this weekend. You could use it this weekend. But yeah, we're talking a new master cylinder. We're talking some new rubber lines and the rear wheel cylinders are fine because they actually were blocked off from getting any of the garbage in there. It was actually kind of nice. Yeah. So the other thing is I saw, and I don't see him here tonight, which is weird, from Vintage 76 Viper Green Beetle. I love that name. He was asking about the Charger appliance drag racing. The the Charger appliance, I don't care. I don't care about the Charger appliance drag racing. It, because the way I look at it, that's cool and all, whatever. Golf carts are fast too, but I look at it this way. I can cook a steak on a grill. It takes 12, 14 minutes, but the steak is delicious when I'm done. Or I could put the steak in a microwave and cook it in 2 minutes, and it's garbage. Just because something's faster doesn't make it more better. It's uninspiring. There's nothing about it. It's an appliance, and honestly, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't move the soul. There's something about an engine in a car that's actually is very soul moving. It's just that sound. Because if anybody's out there who's been to any type of racing, when the cars go by, it's the sound of those engines going by. It makes it just like it raises the pulse rate a little bit. It's actually kind of fun. Same thing if you have an old car or a car that has some sort of guts to it. When you start it up, it just has that happy. It's a happy sound. It's a very happy, happy sound. So uh, but I just yeah, I'm just not a fan of the Charger appliance, and most people aren't. It's meaning that they only sold 1,900 of them in 3 months after a full on blitz that the car exists. Shed by the tracks. Batteries for flashlights, absolutely. Or cordless drills. I honestly, it's such a silly thing that you have to treat it as an appliance because if you don't plug in that that EV, it doesn't work. Just like if you don't plug in your toaster or plug in a stand mixer or plug in your drill or they don't work. And that's not the way, transportation should be. Because with your car, like my charger, like during the summer, it will sit for probably 2 months. Because here in Florida in the summer, we don't use our cars because it's miserable. But it'll sit for 2 months. I have gasoline in it. I treat the gasoline so it doesn't go bad, but it sits in the car. And then if it's nice after a month or so, I start it up, I'm good. I don't need to charge it. I don't need to I don't do anything. I just go start it up and drive it. So, all right, Larry Mondello shoe. Let's see them tow a heavy load uphill in a sub-zero weather. No, that doesn't happen. In fact, they have trouble towing loads when it's warm out on flat ground. Uh, Eric Peters' website is a libertarian automotive guy. He actually gets cars to test, and he had gotten a F-150 appliance early on. It was like 2 years ago. I guess he got it. They gave it to him, and he said, "Okay, it's a truck." He had like a European. It was a small. It was like an MG, I think, and it was 50 miles away. And he's like, "I have a trailer. I'm gonna go get this car. It weighs 1,800 pounds. I'm gonna go tow that car back with this truck that they have given me." Okay, to try it out. So he goes and he goes out and it has originally says it's 250 miles of range. He goes down the block. It's down with the trailer on it, and he goes like 2 miles, and it loses 20 miles of range just in the 2 miles. So it had 250 miles to start. It's a 100-mile round trip. He barely made it back to his place after a 100-mile round trip, towing an 1,800-pound car. I made it? I'm confused. Oh, vintage 76 garage. I made it. Oh, hi. Yes, you made it. Hi. How you doing? Oh, I like I said, I've had one of these weeks. Today I was frantically trying to get brakes to work again. It's fun when you're in at someone else's house and the car is sticking half out of the garage and you have the entire brake system apart. Like literally everything from the proportioning valve back I had disconnected to try to clear the blockage in his lines because when I opened up the rear wheel cylinders, I had them wide open. I actually took the bleeders out and told him to step on the brake, and nothing came out of the cylinders. I'm like, oh, so I had everything. So I'm a little lightheaded today because I spent a lot of time there trying to make sure that this guy's car was fine. Jamie, I thought if you left the car idle for a few weeks, you need to jumpstart it. Your car starts right up after not using it. Yes. Okay. So my 72 Charger, it has nothing on it that runs except the clock. The clock is the only thing that takes battery power for whatever. I have an AGM battery in there, which is what you should be using in everything because they're gel. The heat doesn't bother them. Cold doesn't bother them. They're very robust. They last about 10 years. On a modern car, if you have something that's built, I would say after 2008, 2009, they have so many computers in them that go and constantly turn on. They're supposed to go to sleep, but they turn on. The Stellantis products are really bad. I had a friend that had a Challenger Scat Pack, And that car, if you did not drive it after 3, 4 days, the battery would be dead. And best of all, the battery was in the trunk, but you couldn't open the trunk because the battery was dead and the trunk was electronically opened, and that's the only way you can get the trunk open because it's a Stellantis product. I mean, that car would literally eat batteries. Modern cars will eat batteries, because they always have their computers on. But an old car, if you put a AGM in there, you know, and if you're really not using it for a long time, you just disconnect it, nothing's gonna happen to it. Especially sitting in a garage, nothing's gonna happen to it. As long as the fuel has been treated and, doesn't turn to, turpentine or just evaporate because that's what happens now. You should be able to use a car after letting it sit 2 months. My '89 BMW, it's a modern car, modern-ish. It has fuel injection, it has a computer, but nothing stays on in that car. I actually had that car sit for 6 weeks. Yes, I'm a terrible owner. That car sat and didn't go anywhere for 6 weeks. I went and turned the key, and with the fuel injection, it immediately fired up and ran. I mean, it's much worse on a modern car now than it is on an older car. Modern cars just do not like sitting because of all the computers in them. Even my F-150, I didn't use it for 3 days. I have an AGM battery in this thing. It's locked up. It's not doing anything. I'm not near it with the key. It's just sitting there. And honest to God, I actually get the battery warning on the little screen after about 3 days. It goes, low power turning, start engine or, turning off accessories, whatever, no accessory power. So it does that. So yeah, so that's where you have your issues with cars. But yeah, the so I'm actually right now I'm working on a video about because I had done a video about how expensive classic cars are now to restore. I mean, they're it's actually almost mind-numbingly expensive. And I'm working on a video. I think I found 4 cars that you can buy right now that won't break the bank and they have parts available for them. So, that's gonna be coming out really soon. I'm excited about that one. I actually have a video I'm trying to finish up on actually a product I bought on Amazon that actually works. I am absolutely mind blown that I actually got something on Amazon overnight that wasn't expensive that actually functioned as advertised. I was very excited about that. But the car one, and if you have any cars you think I should look into, classic cars, something from 70, 74 back that are a good buy, have parts available to them, and are still kind of decent looking, or fun looking. Because I think that this is an untapped market for people looking for older cars because everybody out there wants to look for a Charger or a Mustang or a Chevelle, or a Camaro or a Firebird or a Cuda or a Challenger. But there are a lot of cars out there that actually have, well, not a lot actually, but there are cars out there that have a look to them. They are sisters of other cars that are very popular, so there's stuff that's very much available to them. So that's kind of something I'm working on. And I think it would be very helpful for people wanting to get into the hobby at this time because right now getting into this hobby is brutal. It is ungodly brutal. Not only not only getting a car is expensive as hell unless you get lucky, but getting parts for them is mind numbing. Because if you could find the part, if it's made in China, it doesn't work very well, or it'll work for a short amount of time. I had uh, neutral safety switches. I've gone through 4 of them in the past 3 years. Neutral safety switch. Used to be something you put in the car and never touch. Literally, I just had another one fail on me. I have no backup lights because it just died because that's the way things are these days. With the GTX, I was thinking about trying to get a new rear rubber hose. Good luck. I called I went online trying to find stuff, and literally they said they could order it. I'm like, so can I? Thanks. Okay. Um, let's see. Vinci 76 Garage. The thing about newer cars is the mice or chipmunks have easy access to the cabin filter and use it as a nest. Oh yeah. Oh, the other thing on modern cars, especially European modern cars, is that the wiring is biodegradable, and I heard it's tasty. Well, at least I think the mice think it is because people have issues. Even on American cars, they've done the wiring with the mice actually love chewing on it, and there's so much wire in today's car. Uh, in today's cars, when if you have a wiring problem, that could be weeks to fix it. I mean, because the harnesses are almost impossible to trace. There's usually bundles about this thick around that you have to try to figure out which one's bad. I mean, I have a point of reference. 2020. Oh God, this is 25 years ago. My grandfather was a warranty manager at a Ford dealership, and they had a Mark 7. No, Mark 7, Mark 8. It was a Mark 8. Mark 8, the main wiring harness went bad from front to back. The mechanic worked on it and got paid. The pay rate for it was 18 hours to do a wiring harness in the car. 18 hours. And this is a car that's almost 30 years old, and it was 18 hours. On a modern car, I mean, you basically get rid of the car at that point. Autobot Al. Thoughts on buying a car from a police or bank auction? Actually, my family did this a lot. Didn't I? I said we were a Chrysler family, and the best place to buy a Chrysler product, well, at a police auction. Just because the thing is about those cars is that you can't start them, uh, and you have to know what you're getting into. You know, you have to look at what you're provided. Like, you know, you can pull the dipsticks out, you can smell things, you can touch things, you can look underneath things, you can open things up, and you have to be really sure of the car. You know, you have to know a lot about the model and whatnot. You have to be really informed about what you're looking for and what you're looking at, and what problems those cars usually have. Like, if it's a 4.6 Ford, the earlier ones had plastic intake manifolds that cracked, and sometimes they got repaired, sometimes they didn't. And if they didn't, then you have a car that's going to be a lot of work to get it fixed, to get it running. And that's one of the challenges with this, with going to auctions to buying cars. You only have so much. You have so much now. Bank auctions, I wouldn't even go near that because those are repos. And I don't know if you've seen what people do to repos. I've seen what people do to repos. You don't want those cars. They know the car is going away. That car has been abused. It is utterly and absolutely been abused, and you don't want that. A police auction, it's either an impounded car or ex-police cars. Police cars are maintained like nobody's business. They will change oil regularly. They do everything right. So just do it that way. Oh yeah, Jaguar wiring is delicious. Thank you, Lon. Yes, I imagine so. You know, they used to use Lucas Electronics. You know, the Prince of Darkness, and yeah, their wiring is on the new cars, just like the BMWs. It's very, very it's yummy because it's biodegradable. It's probably made from like wheat or something. Some stupid thing. It's absolutely silly the way that they go around telling the auto manufacturers how to build a car. Yeah. Where's that gotten us? Oh, it's gotten us cars that are almost impossible to fix, and that we can't. And that that if something goes wrong with it, you just gotta get rid of it. I don't know how that's more environmentally friendly. Let's see, vintage '76. My father, early '80s Plymouth Fury taxi was bought at a town garage auction. We didn't know it didn't have reverse gear until he got it home. Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But on that car, that had a either had a 727 or had a five. What the hell was the after one? It was a 586. There was the 727 with an overdrive. It's the same thing as 720, but it's an easy transmission to change out, and back then it wasn't very expensive. It was like $200-300, and you had a transmission in the car. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about when you go to the auction. But that's an easy fix. But those '80s pure Plymouth Furies, absolutely top notch car. Really a car you could just drive. So, you put a little money into it. I imagine you put a little money to it and you used it for a while. Yes. Autoball is watching the Blues Brothers. It's because he's got cop tires, cop motor, cop suspension. Yeah. So, it's been very fascinating lately with just in general with you talking about some new car stuff with my favorite company Stellantis. What's really funny is that now Stellantis um, was going mainly on copium. They would float stuff in the media about their cars and whatnot. The Charger, appliance. They would try to make it sound like it's doing better than it is, whatever. But now their new thing is hopium, because now we're starting the production of the Hemi again in August, and everybody thinks that there's going to be Hemis in these cars in like September, and the trucks. No, that's not the way it works, and it's kind of weird because you get fed this line that they're doing this, but none of this is coming to fruition in the near future. Like the Ram trucks probably won't have Hemis in them till second quarter next year, earliest, because they have to do all the EPA and the crash testing, which they haven't done with that engine in it. And the Charger, I would imagine, is probably summer or fall of next year at earliest. From what I saw on another YouTuber, TK's Garage, he has a pretty decent line. He's fairly close to accurate most of the time. He said that production's gonna restart in Canada of the Charger appliance, but no more appliances. They're gonna build the Charger with only the Huracan for now, trying to save what's left of Dodge, because Dodge doesn't have a mass-produced car right now. They don't have a mass-produced anything. They have a Durango that sells a few thousand. They have a Hornet that sells a couple thousand, and then they have the EV that nobody wants. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll throw cash in the hoods. It's actually a really sad time for cars right now. If you're a car guy, the old cars have gotten very expensive. There's really not a lot from the '80s and '90s that you want. There's a few cars, but what's good is very expensive, and what is kind of left is not very good. So it's a really weird time to like cars, because I don't know about anybody else out there. I used to go, especially, when with the invention of the internet, there was all these websites dedicated to car information, like Car Scoops. And I loved going to Car Scoops because I get to see what was coming out with the cars, the next year or so, or 2 years down the road. They would have a lot of spy shots. And it was really exciting times, because then you went and it's like, oh, this is going to come out. This is going to be really fun. And I can't wait, for this car to come out, this car to come out. Now I don't even go to those sites. I don't even look online anymore for future cars. I don't even care. It's gotten to that it really has gotten to that point, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but it's really weird. There's no excitement for stuff coming out. I'm also a BMW guy, and the 3 Series is gonna be 50 years old this year. 50 years old, and I could care less. They've making a 50-year-old model. They're doing the new class design, and honestly, it's like, so? I mean, it's electronic abomination with turbochargers and all this stuff on there. It's just like, okay, that's great, but it doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm becoming jaded because I like old cars so much, or if it's just they're not exciting. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of lost at that. So it's just a really weird thing at this point that there's just and the funny thing is with the old car magazines, I'm reading them less and less because there's also less in there that's big and there's less of them. And that's the other thing. There's like almost no car magazines left. I mean, there's a few of each make, and then I think Car and Driver is still around. Um, I mean, Car and Driver. I think CarCraft may be around, but I mean, it's like they don't have anything new to work on. I mean, honestly, uh, I can't name 10 cars from the American cars from the 80s or 90s that I would think would be a great thing to actually start working on. There's a really small list. Actually, I may do a video on that because there's a really small list, and a lot of those cars are gone. Like all those Thunderbirds, and they made a lot of Thunderbirds in the 80s and the early 90s. I had a 95 Thunderbird. Oof. Um, and that was actually a mid-sized car, and it had V8. They had V8s in them, so there was like potentially in the turbo coupe. And I can count on my one hand how many of them I've seen. I'm talking like from the 80s and 90s in the last 6 months. And I'm in Florida where stuff doesn't rot. And I mean, that was a very popular car that had a lot of potential, but there's no traction. The Mustangs and the Camaros, the Trans Ams, the Firebirds, the Corvettes, those have a very, there always will be something for them. But even that, there aren't a lot of great years in the 80s and 90s of those cars. And the late 70s, there's nothing. I mean, I can't, you defy me define a good car from the late 70s. I honestly, and yes, that's right, Vince. Your Vinci 76 Garage. The new stuff doesn't do it. It's boring. It's because everything has to be made to a spec. Everything has to be designed on a computer. There's no originality because, like Ford, they made the new Mustang, but then they just kind of copied. They really didn't make it something different. They just copied what a 1970 Mustang would kind of look like modernized. And they've been doing this trope now for three, three generations now. And before that, they copied, a modernization of the 64, 65 Mustang, which is kind of like, okay, at least I guess Dodge, Stellantis, with that thing they call a Charger, it, it, it's almost something new, but it still harkens a little too much back to the previous car, and that's really kind of an issue. The only company I'll give them credit is Chevrolet with the Corvette. I didn't think it would work. I really didn't, because Chevrolet doing something really kind of on the cutting edge, usually not a great combination. And the car actually looks different. It's still kind of a Corvette. It's actually pretty fast. Okay, success. And yes, Larry Mandela says yes. The emissions BS. Oh, the diminishing returns. I did a video on this. The diminishing returns of emissions on car engines and the fuel economy standards is so insane at this point. Literally, they're now trying to, to get, plant food, CO2, as a pollutant, which it isn't. It's plant food. Trees breathe it in and put out oxygen. That's literally grammar school science. And so because they have nothing else to do anymore, because they took the lead out of the gas. They have catalytic converters on them. They have fuel injection. Everything is all controlled beautifully. Combustion's almost complete at this point. There's nothing coming out except water and CO2. There's really not much else coming out of a tailpipe. And by going out and trying to squeeze, this little much emissions out of a car and this much more fuel economy by doing insane things, that does nothing but hurt the consumer. Everybody's wondering why the price of cars is so high. All you have to do is look at the federal government and their regulations. That is why the prices of cars are so high. It has nothing to do with anything else except that. That literally all that technology they had to put into the car, the research they had to put into the car, all the things they had to put into the car add price to the car. Anything you make standard on a car adds to the price. Backup cameras are now standard. That's an extra $500 on the car. Do you need it? Probably not. Would you like it? Sure. But if I don't want it, I don't want to pay for it. There you go. Power windows. There are standard in every car. Literally, you can't get a manual window car anymore. That adds cost. It adds cost to the car. It adds complexity to the car. Power seats, same thing. So I mean that is literally one of those things. Tasca Ford. Oh my God. Tasca. That's still the place I go to get parts for my Ford truck. They're like the best. And the Mustang V in the late 90s, yeah, those Mustangs could be twisted. That 4.6 could be twisted. And I think on the Cobras they put the 5.4 in it. That car was an animal. I mean, it was the potential for that car was psychotic. Absolutely and utterly psychotic. It really truly the Mustang was the thing that brought back the muscle cars in 1985, 1984. Literally, I remember reading muscle car review, and they actually took them out, and they were as fast as the old cars. And I was like, wow. So, yeah. Vintage 76 Garage. Do I watch Uncle Tony's Garage? So obviously, if I know what the abbreviation is, yes. I like Uncle Tony. I like him. He grew up where I grew up. Grew up in Staten Island, New York. And he talks about places that I've been. And I'm like 12 years younger than him. But I still remember a lot of the stuff because I didn't have a car when he had a car there. And I remember a lot of locations. And I like, all right, he fixes cars the way we fix cars. I heard people, oh, he's a hack. No. That is how a home mechanic fixes things. You don't do it perfect. You get it repaired. I mean, on my Charger, I may go 500 extra miles to make me, but like on the 95 BMW, when I get done with this clutch video, you'll see how a home mechanic works, because I did things to make it so it could get done and be worked. You work through problems and fix them. He actually had a great video on welding an engine block, because it can be done, and it can be done with a MIG welder. I mean, you literally can weld it with a MIG welder, and it's the science behind it is it's straightforward, and I've seen other people do it, and the way he explained it is perfectly right. Because if you heat the block up right, weld it, and then cool it down real slow, you'll hold. Because actually, I would say 60% of Hemi blocks have been welded. Absolutely. Unless the car was not drag raced, yeah, that engine's been welded at least once. So yeah, I like Uncle Tony. I find his stuff entertaining for the most part. Yeah, there are times it's like the thing with the Cherokee. It's like, yeah, I know you can make it fast, but once again, kind of boring. I don't know. Have you ever run against the Ford Taurus show? I've driven them. Uh, especially the new ones. I would definitely not. They're freaking fast. I remember my grandfather was working at the Ford dealership when they came out, and they had the Yamaha engines in them. This is the original version of it. That car was an animal. I mean, seriously, that car was an animal. It was fast. I mean, by any standards, the car was fast. I mean, I think it would run 14 second quarter miles, front wheel drive car. The new one, I think you could get into the 13s without much work, which is stupid fast. Incredible. It was an incredible car for being such a base family car. But that's honestly Ford always Ford kind of did that. Ford would take something common, bump it up, and then make it a super high performance car. It's just the way Ford has always been their with their car lines. They still do that today. I mean, you know, they have taken they have the F-150 Raptor, which you took a pickup truck and now you made it just this beast. And the V8 one was much more of a beast than the six. The V8 one was just psychotic. They did the Focus ST. The Focus ST was a real animal of a car. Absolutely an animal of a car. I mean, especially for what it was fast. Those SHOs though, all SHOs had Yamaha. Even the new one had a Yamaha engine. I thought the new one just had a highly modified 3.5 in it. I know the original one that was a Yamaha engine that I think it did like 7,000 RPM. It was psychotic. I just loved everything about it because you had the most bland looking car in the world, even with the body kits on it and whatnot. Bland, but who cares? Because stoplight to stoplight, you could humiliate people with that car, and that was the best thing about it. I like cars that are kind of low key. You kind of look at them and go, and then they just disappear into the sunset, which is just the best thing. Because if those types of cars are really the type of car you can have real fun with out stoplight to stoplight if you like to do that type of thing. Um, you know, obey all traffic laws, of course. So yes, true sleeper. Yeah, I mean, you know, um, they General Motors almost had that with the last SS, was the Impala SS, but unfortunately had the SS badge because that had the Holden drivetrain in there. That thing was just an absolute utter animal. The G8 sedan actually was not much to look at, but it also was a Holden, and it had 6 piston brakes in the front, 4 piston brakes in the back. My buddy used to autocross one. That thing was just stupid fast. Let's see. Body shop cost a fortune. Is it more expensive for vintage car? Yes. Uh, on a vintage car, part of the extra cost is that when you're doing it, you're working on older stuff, and there's always stuff that you don't know about. Or the sheet metal is very expensive or hard to find, or they're fabricating stuff because that's where it really gets into the money. The money at the money that end up spending a lot of on a body shop is the labor on things. Like if a fender is available, say example, a fender is available for $700 for your car. Holy crap, that's expensive. Yes, but the fender you have has rust on the bottom and is dented. You can have $800 of man hours in that fender to make it look as good as a new fender. So yeah, it I mean, all over a lot of the things though, they end up sharing some of the same type of expense. My friend's a painter. Uh, good paint, good paint, not great paint, good paint, good paint. $300 a quart. If you want red or blue, $300 a quart. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at for a good primer, $150, like no, what, $400 a gallon. I mean, you're looking at real money, serious money. Trying to do body work or anything. It's actually gotten to the point where and I did a full video on restoring, and people criticize, oh, you only said $18,000 for that paint job. I'm like, Jesus, 18 grand. I mean, that's a lot of money for a paint job. And I was just talking a paint job. I'm not talking doing body work on the car. I'm not talking about leveling thing. I'm talking about it's ready to shoot. You prime it, sand it, paint it, done. And even just trying to do single stage, not even base clear coat. Uh, it is truly mind numbing when you start looking at the expense that it costs to get a car done. It is, and I yeah, I if you look at my video, I have it's psychotic. So yeah, it can get very expensive. People can drop, like, if you see a car, if you go to a show and somebody has a car that is just absolutely, like, better than it was in the showroom, and then you look under the car, they have six figures in that car all day long. Twice on Sunday, there's six figures in that car. It's just very common. A good show to watch for car cost. I know it's a few years old now. It's Phantom Works. Phantom Works, the guy was very honest, and a lot of the builds he did, these people would be, it's 50,000 and up, easy, without even trying. 50,000 and up. Most of the time, is near six figures, 100 grand. So patina is cool now for a reason. Yeah, yeah. It As long as it's not rusted through, just throw some clear on it and be done. Yeah, and those actually at auction, those are, if you go look at Mecum, patina trucks are like, that's some serious money now. Stuff that we would have thrown away 30 years ago. Yeah, it's now like a $70,000 truck. I'm I, I'm I get dizzy when I watch auctions or when I go to the one in Kissimmee. I get a little woozy. Because like, that truck just went for $65,000. My God, I could have bought the car. I could have bought one just like that for $2,000 20 years ago. Oh well, go figure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, uh, but yeah. So this weekend going to this picnic, we'll see what's something gonna be weird. That last year the 5150 guys were there with their Joe Dirte Superbird. Hopefully something cool like that will be kind of will be there. So we'll have some videos on that. And yes, G Canada, yes, 75% of the cost is straight up labor. Absolutely. Because if you can get a body shop that charges less than $100 an hour, use them. If they do good work, use them. Because most of them are like $150 an hour now. Without even blinking, it's $150 an hour and up. I mean, it really depends. It it is painful. Yeah, body work is big. Yeah, and the other thing is that now there's a shortage of actual body guys, people that actually know how to repair panels and weld things. Because even my painter friend, he's okay at welding. He's a painter, and he's like, and we're near Tampa. I mean, this is it's not this isn't Hicksville. This isn't out in the middle of Nebraska, out in the sticks where it's like my nearest neighbor is 100 miles away. No, this is literally we're in Tampa. There's millions of people here. He's having the hardest time finding a welder for body panels that's competent to help do body panels for him so he can paint cars. It is amazing the lack of the technical skills that are needed to make things happen. in this country. It is actually kind of frightening when you look at it, how few we have compared to what we need. And yeah, it was pretty it's gotten pretty bad. But yeah, the body work, you can drop, if you have a car that needs stuff, like say there's some rust on it, typical early 70s car has some rust in the lower corners, and maybe, it needs some work on the doors, maybe even a trunk floor and whatever. I mean, you could drop 10 grand in body work on that car without even being painted. It's just 10 grand body work. It's just the way it is. Uh yeah, love, kissing me. Yes. Uh right now you wouldn't like it. That place is insane. Anything near Orlando is basically hell. Orlando actually has traffic till 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking like bumper to bumper LA traffic, 3 o'clock in the morning. And yes, painters don't weld. They see themselves as artists. Actually, they are artists. Every good painter I know is a little touched. The little, but when they do something and the way that they do it, there is an art form because they have ways to make paint lay, to make things actually have a different look to them, have a different shine to them. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. Let's see. They will send damaged cars to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, well, yeah, they just actually, what's the funniest thing? Years ago, it was true. It's true. They had cars, and there would be cars littered on the side of the road in Saudi Arabia because they ran out of gas. Like, yeah, oh well, go buy another one. Kind of one of those weird things I had heard. Seems about right. But yeah, ugh, but it's yeah, the whole fixing cars and paint and getting painters and doing that. Yeah, that's a whole nother level of hell at this point. As is Kissimmee. Yeah, just go any night. If anybody's really bored, go on Google Maps and pull up the traffic for like around Disney, and you'll just see the reds and dark oranges for miles around there. You can't get through. It's great. It's a hellhole. And the funny thing is, they have a show out there called Old Town. It's on Friday night, and I've never gone to it. And it's maybe 50 miles from my house, but I refuse to go there because it would take me probably 2 hours to get there. I just don't want to do that. So yeah, but let's talking about my friend from my other podcast, Radio Gunk. The Prince of Nigeria is driving Monique's old car right now. Still pieces of deer sticking in it. Yeah, this is this is one of those things in life. The my friend Monique had and this is God, such a girl thing. She was driving a nice BMW back from New York, from Pennsylvania. She was driving in Florida, and she called me when she got back. She said, "Yeah, I hit a deer. She hit a deer in Pennsylvania, and she found out she actually did some damage to the car when she got gas in Virginia. She didn't stop after she slapped Bambi with the car, and she sent me pictures of the damage. That ooh, because it took out the headlight, and I'm like, uh-oh. And it was like an 8-year-old car, and I'm like, uh-oh, this may not be good. You may be looking at like 15 grand, and they totaled the car. It was a car worth $45,000, and they totaled the car because the headlight got damaged, and there was a little bit of structure up front, which is nothing. So yes, that car got shipped overseas, and it got fixed. And yeah, someone else is driving it. Oh my God. So you have a DeLorean. Mr. Dangles has, my car needs a new flux capacitor. All right. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Just you go above 88 miles an hour, do you go back in time? Jamie, have you ever been in a car accident? Oh, hell yes. You know what's so funny? Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Um, I've never had a car total. Well, actually, I've had one car totaled in an accident. And I swear to God, one car. And I was working at a dealership selling cars, and it was the company car. And I was driving home. It was late. I had made a couple sales, and I was driving home late. A car pulls out in front of me. I slow down, and this girl doing something else besides looking ahead of her slammed into the back of this car and actually pushed the trunk into the back seat. And I'm like, this is not good. And hilarity ensued at the dealership as I had this wreck towed back to them. And yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much, I got hit once. I've been mainly hit. Let's see, I got hit once driving my mom's Cordoba because my charger had broken. Thank God it was the Cordoba, not my charger. Driving to high school, and I'm driving along, and a guy just ran a stop sign and broadsided me, and he did so much damage to the front of the car. Uh, yeah, I mean, I've just mainly it's been other people hitting me or really low speed stuff. Nothing, knock on wood, at any type of real speed, which is good. I think. Let's see. Uh, Listen, I can't get up to 88. That's a problem. You're never gonna go back in time. Let's see. Junkyards in Dubai, all those exotic cars crack. Yeah, they literally tossed them. It's amazing what happens when you just get a lot of money, but have no, I don't know, just no industry or anything. It's just stuff like that becomes disposable. It's really a weird culture. It's strange. So strange. Larry Meadows, I just told Mo get some duct tape. You're good to go. Absolutely. I was just like, actually, she actually, that's the second car she had a headlight thing. She had another car where it had LED headlights, and one of the headlights had just died, and it was going to be 6 grand to fix it. $6,000 to fix a headlight. You got to love these new cars. Yes, Mr. Dangles. You got to get over 8 miles an hour so you can go to 2007 and buy Bitcoin, because what was it, like 50 cents back then? You'd be a millionaire. You would actually have a better puppet house. Hey, we had a 1983 Cordoba with, it was an FBI special with an FBI 318 in it. Had a thermoquad on it. It was silver and had a crushed velour interior in blue. It had power windows, manual door locks because FBI. Actually, that car it had a oh my god, limited, it had a limited slip in it. I mean, really, seriously, this actually was a really good car. No, Corinthian, had, all right. What is your feedback on Vipers? Oh, okay. Funny you should ask. I know people that have Vipers, and I've driven a Viper. They the ones with the side pipes are unbearable. They are unbearable. You cannot have a conversation with the person in the seat next to you. You literally can't. It is that loud in that car. It is ungodly loud. I'm even talking about the ones like 2015, 20. I'm talking to later ones. Unbearably loud going down the road. The early ones, the first generation, they had, didn't have real windows. They had just that removable top, but your feet would cook against the firewall because it just got so hot because the exhaust coming down on there absolutely They are so cool, but they are a misery to drive. The other thing is that the V10 based on the 318 does two things that you don't want from a high performance engine. First, the valve retainers, they let go and they drop the valves into the engine, thus destroying it. Or the crank blows out the bottom of the block because it's not a very strong bottom end on that car. They they didn't girdle it, which is really weird. So you can absolutely grenade one of those engines without much work. I mean, it's a fun car. It's a good toy. I wouldn't, but I mean, honestly, I'd always be terrified that the engine would let go, and that is not a cheap engine to fix. It is, it's a specific engine for a specific model. Granted, a lot of stuff is kind of off the shelf Chrysler, and but it's kind of scary when you think about it. It ends up being a lot more expensive to keep than a Corvette. It's a lot more expensive than even a continuation Cobra because those cars actually the engines could be pretty reliable in them. The engines in this were, mm, and they are just not comfortable cars, not comfortable at all. Let's see. My friend had a 1980 or so Dodge Mirada. I think it was built on the same platform as Cordoba. It was a slant. The slowest car I ever drove in my youth. Even a Chevette was faster. Yes, they came out with the Mirada, the Cordoba, and that was it. And Plymouth didn't get a version of that car, which is really weird. But they did put slants in them, and slants from 1974 on were horrible. We actually had a slant in our 76 Volare, another winner we had. That engine could go up hills. The pollution control on a slant it took all the guts out of the engine. They had maybe 110 horsepower if they were lucky on a good day. Also, that slant was still a 2-barrel carburetor. They for General Motors, I mean Chrysler was so slow to take with fuel injection. They didn't have fuel injection to the late 80s, like 88, 89. And their first fuel injection they came out with, actually it was 87, but the first fuel injection was the center thing that like your replacement ones now that you buy like from Holly, and they're horrible. I mean, they didn't work well. And so that car never got fuel injection. The slant with fuel injection would have been a good engine, but I have you beat. I had a 1981 Cougar 4-door with the 200 inline 6 from Ford. That car, I timed it 0 to 60 in 17 seconds. 17. Foot to the floor on flat ground, 65 degrees outside, 17 seconds. Absolutely one of the slowest things I've ever driven in my entire life. Yes, yes, Jamie. No, it's $6,000 for a headlight is absurd. There's nothing good about that. Let's see. A Fury Taxi had a slant. So that's like an 80s Fury. Gee, that thing. I actually a girl I went out with. She had a Superbird, but her daily car was a Fury with a slant in it. Yeah, just let that settle in. That car was slow. She got 25 miles a gallon on a highway though. Oh my God, Mr. Dangles, you need that flux capacitor. 0 to 60 in 3 minutes is not very fast. Yeah, I just it's amazing. It's amazing if you look because you look at the 70s and early 80s cars, how bad things were. It is truly amazing because we all, if we're old enough, if you're above 45, you actually remember these cars. They were horrible. They weren't very fast. They weren't very stylish. They weren't built very well. There was literally, yeah, it was, and there was no wonder why like Toyota and Honda and BMW and Mercedes started selling and Volkswagen, actually Volkswagen and Volvo, all these foreign cars started selling so much in the United States because these cars were terrible. It only takes me 2 minutes to get to the ABC store. Nice, Mr. Dangles. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I know other people have done videos on the Malays. The Malays. Oh my God! Apparently, the Imperial was also yes. So that was called the L body, L body or J body. Well, I had an Imperial too. My mother had a 1981 Imperial in brown with a brown interior that we bought at a auction. It still had the fuel injection, and Chrysler's had Bosch make this fuel injection that used mirrors that actually calculated the fuel going into the Venturis. And my uncle actually got it to work. And the car actually could get 20 miles a gallon on a highway. It was a 5,000-pound car with a 318 in it. I mean, one of the quietest, most comfortable cars I've ever ridden in my entire life. Everything about this car was just phenomenal, but it was the wrong car at the wrong time. Absolutely an incredible, incredible car. Just wonderful, wonderful car. So advanced, but just at the wrong time with a company that had no money. All right, Reliant K's. Okay, Larry Mondello. I took driver's ed on Reliant K's. Um, I actually saw a Reliant K about a month ago. Perfect shape, beautiful car. I took driver's ed with Reliant K, and I had two football players with me, and I lived in Staten Island. Staten Island's very, very hilly. Literally, I was going up this thing called Snake Hill, and the driving instructor's like, "You can go faster." I said, "I can't." He said, "No, you can." "No, I can't. My foot's to the floor. We don't go any faster than this. This is it." We were doing like 15 miles an hour up this hill, foot to the floor. Absolutely horrible, horrible car. If you, and that's like, and if you see one, it's almost a miracle now. Yeah, yes, they did. K Card did save Mopar, and it's kind of unfortunate. And now looking back, I think it would have been better if it had just gone away. Let's see. Dennis, how old when you started driving? My best friend's mom taught him how to drive at 13. We go all cruising in his mom's Impala when he was 13. I started driving when I was like 14 years old. I didn't take my friends with me and stuff, because I was terrified of my mother. She's Sicilian. She's scary. And but I was driving at 14. I mean, I had my license at 16. I couldn't wait to start driving. And I actually learned to drive on a Lynx station wagon with a 4-speed in it. So I actually learned how to drive on a stick shift car. Jamie, are Volkswagen Beetles slow? Depends. Stock, yes. They 50 horsepower. They have nothing. Once they're modified, you can basically make them Porsche fast. That's just literally, it depends. But stock, yeah, they're extremely slow. The only thing slower is a bus. I have a friend that he builds those engines, and they did the buses over the Skyway Bridge here in Tampa area. And literally those things getting over that hump, they literally are doing 20 miles an hour up that hill. And then they get to the top, and then they're doing 60 miles an hour down with drum brakes all around and praying no one stops short. Wow. PCB PO 23. My father had a K wagon. It had 280,000 miles on it before the timing chain broke. Yeah. I mean, They were actually the engines, the 4 cylinders in those were very good. In fact, they got 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. I'm not saying that, like, inherently it's a terrible car. It's just boring and really slow, and boring and really slow. Vintage 76 Orange. My favorite Mopar car from the '80s was the minivan. That's what they became known for. They the minivan. They actually they were second to the market with minivan. It's just like a reverse of Ford the Mustang. Ford had the Aerostar out before the Grand Caravan came out, or the Caravan. Literally, it was like 6 months beforehand, they had the Aerostar, but the Aerostar was such a terrible vehicle. It was built on a Ranger platform. It was so impossible to work on and look weird, and they didn't have all the stuff that Chrysler had figured out to put in the minivans that, like, moms would like, and they ended up doing because the flip side of that is the '64 Barracuda came out before the Mustang, but everybody remembers the Mustang, and nobody remembers that Barracuda. Uh, let's see, '80s cars suck balls. It's G Canada. That's why I built motors on half the car ones I had in '80 Mustang Cobra built 302, cracked frame, '83 Crown Victoria LTZ, got the Mustang motor, '86 Town Car, no upgrade, '87 Lincoln Mark 7. Yes. Actually, by '84, the Mustang was actually a good it was a roller motor at that point. So it had a roller cam in it, and it said and by '85, they said 225 horsepower with that little carburetor on there. Probably with a big carb one now, you could probably get those to I know Uncle Tony, I think he rode for CarCraft, they got that car near 400 horsepower. So, I mean, by mid '80s, things came around. The early '80s cars were terrible. Jesus, they were bad. I mean, no one remembers the 280 V8 Ford came out with before they tried before they put the 302 back in. That was a terrible, terrible engine. Let's see. Oh my god, I started driving on my grandparents' farm at 8. See, that's the wonderful thing. If you're on a farm, if you like motor stuff, man, yeah, you have plenty of places to actually be able to take your hmm, take your ability to go drive. You just go through the fields and stuff. G Canada Mark 7 had the first half year of the new 5.0 before they detuned them. About 275 horsepower. The 8.8 rear. LSC black and chrome leather, moonroof air ride. Still the nice car I had. Yep. My boss, when I worked at the gas station in high school, he bought his wife one of those. Fabulous car. I love the Mark 7. Utterly one of my favorite cars. Absolutely. It was a personal luxury coupe. It harkened back to like the Toronado or the big birds of the big Thunderbirds of the late '60s, or the Grand Prix, those types of cars. That's what it harkened back because it was fast, but it still was comfortable and very good, very comfortable ride. Love that car. Oh wow, I was right. The J platform. Yeah, I do remember these things. Did Mopar ever put a diesel engine in any of their cars? I think they did, but I can't remember. I don't. No, actually, trying to remember in the '80s if they did, because they had a deal with Mitsubishi. I'm trying to think. I don't think they did. I don't think they ever put a diesel. I may be wrong, but I don't think they ever did. I know Ford put diesels in the Ranger for a couple years, and you got like 30 miles to the gallon with it. But I don't know if Chrysler ever did that. Let's see. Uh, I like that. Yeah, sneak out. If Jamie at 15 would sneak out the car at night and no one was the wiser. Absolutely. Just make sure you put gas in it. Uh Dawn Sanders. Hi, Dennis. I learned how to drive a stick shift car. I grew up in New Jersey. Now live in Florida. Question. I own a 2004 Corvette convertible. 21,000 miles. I want to sell it. Kelly. I guess Kelly Blowbook. Wow. That's actually now becoming a collectible because that's a Is that C6? I'm not very good on Corvette eras, but that's still one that is desirable. It's pretty fast at that point. 21,000 miles is like nothing. Um, whatever, if the car is shiny and everything's intact, whatever the top, the top, you know, pricing in the books is, that's what you ask for it. I mean, honestly, if what mileage that low, I mean, it's a 21-year-old car. That's 1,000 miles a year. Uh, let's see. Uh, so what do you think I should do? Well, I mean, if you don't use the car and you want the money, sell it. If you like the car, keep it and drive it. I mean, but if you're gonna sell it, I mean, I would ask top dollar for it. It's a Corvette. It's a Corvette convertible. And honestly, you know, I so here we go. I want to buy a new Corvette stick shift. Yeah, then ask top dollar for the car, whatever top is in Kelly Blue Book or Nata. What I mean, what because the car obviously, if it's good shape and that mileage, you can ask. It's a Corvette. Ask for it. The more maintenance stuff you have, yeah. I mean, that literally is a type of car that you can go to a consignment place and they'll probably get you the top dollar. They'll take their little cut. But yeah, and you want to buy something fun, do it. You'll get a pretty penny for that. Yes, the C6 does have a manual transmission. It's only the current C8 that does not have a manual transmission. It is the first Corvette not to have one. And I think it's a damn shame because it's a mid-engine car and hell, a mid-engine car with a stick is a fun car to drive. Ugh. The Z1 engine. PCB Pro 23 is asking if it has a Z1 engine. Uh, I don't know. Does it? What engine's in it? Is it a Z06? What do we got here? This is fascinating. Or are they gone? Oh, here it is. Kelly Blue Book says, here. My car is worth 18,000. I think my girl's worth 35. She's immaculate. See, when you're at this point, you have a car with no mileage on it. And that's kind of where yeah, see, the books are only what they can use for averages. And honestly, how many low mileage 2004 Corvettes are, you know, being sold? My thing is always ask high, and you can always come down a little. But I 18,000 seems low because just from what I've seen out there, that seems awful low for a car with no mileage on it. And the no mileage, yeah, no mileage is it's worth more than that. Oh no, never trade. Well, only trade if you only trade if you're trading for something that is a equal rarity or mileage or condition. You never trade down. That's insane because you could possibly find that type of car you like. The vintage 76 Rush, the new C8 is available in China with a diesel engine. Um, Yeah, I all these companies that kowtow to the Chinese market, which is I don't understand it, and that is such an antithesis of what a Corvette is. Diesel in that is almost sacrilege. It really is. And all the Chinese are going to do is just copy the car and make their own version. They'll just change the emblem on the front. Oh, Oldsmobile definitely had a diesel four-door. Yes, actually, General Motors had in the early 80s a diesel engine and they put it in a Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and Buick. They did not put it in a Pontiac. They were lucky. And General Motors, in their finite wisdom, decided that no, we don't need to have a diesel base. So they took a 350. They took a Chevy 350, a small block Chevy, and they made a diesel out of it. What could go wrong? Everything. I mean, that motor ate itself. The bottom end wasn't strong enough for diesel. The injectors didn't work right. Everything on that engine was garbage. I don't even know if you could find one of those anymore. I honestly, that I there can't be 1,000 of those things left. They were such junk. Ah, Dawn, thank you so much. I would never trade down. I love your channel. Thank you so much. That really makes me feel good. That really does. As I, when I, you know, when I go and because when I do something for the channel, it isn't like okay, great. An hour later I have something for the channel. It's like okay, I have an idea. I film it. First I write everything out, then I film it. Then I don't like it. Then I refilm it. Then I go and I start editing it and then I find things I don't like. I film some more, and then I edit some more, and then so about 20 hours later, I make that 12-minute video that you watched. That's literally what happens. So thanks a lot. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, Cummins is making his first gas engine, the 6.7 octane. Yeah, I've been reading a little about it. It's actually kind of a neat concept. We'll see if it works. Um, we'll see if it works. I hope it does. I mean, it's kind of something good. Uh, it's just kind of it's hopefully it's something good because innovation has really been lacking in the automobile world. It really has been. Uh, Weird question. Who has a better car collection, Jay Leno or Jerry Seinfeld? Jay Leno. Jerry Seinfeld buys mainly Porsches. I like Porsches, not that much though. Jay Leno just buys weird stuff. I mean, he has Stanley Steamers. Who the hell has a Stanley Steamer besides Jay Leno? Exactly. Let me see. Agreement here. Agreement. Yeah. Yep. Everybody agreement with that. Yep. Jerry only collects his Porsche. The porches. As my Cuban friends in Tampa go, they go porch. I got a nice porch. So I said, is it a front porch or a rear porch? So, oh, okay. What about Al? Danny from Counting Cars is a collection. And yes, you can go see it. If you're in Vegas, go see the Count car collection. They charge like $15, whatever. It is, if you love cars, if you like weird stuff, this is the place. This is one of the TV shows. There's only a few TV shows that actually do good jobs when they actually do cars. And he is one of the guys. The other one is Ken Digg, out in Utah, and on Bitch and Rides. They have a Cadillac that they did with Pearl, that and Metal Flake, that I stared at for 15 minutes trying to figure out how to lay the paint on this car because it literally glittered. It honestly looked like a stripper at a club with all the glitter on her. That's how this car looked. It was pimp. I mean, this was stared at in 1970s, like 78. It was lowered. It had the custom interior. It had the custom paint job on it. Absolutely a wonderful place to go if you want to go look at cars. Honestly. Oh, G Canada apps. If you go there, you have to go to this place. If you like cars, the vibe in this place is just so cool because everything in there is just unique and weird. Vegas is a fun town. You don't have to gamble. Don't go in the summertime. It is painfully hot. I was there in June of last year, family things, and it was 112. It was like stepping out into an oven. It was painful. But go like in the spring or fall, it's great. Don't go in the winter; it's really cold. But you're from Canada, so you'll think it's almost you'll think it's almost the Caribbean. Yeah, Autobot, absolutely. It once again, you know, you're also from the Northwest. Just go, go in the winter even because the lights are on longer, and it's a little cold, but you can't go to the pools and stuff, but, I mean, you can still do all the other things. It's kinda neat, and go to do the damn tour. You have to do the damn tour. You get the damn souvenirs and do all the damn things there because it's great, but you gotta get the damn tour. Oh, I hate this question. Dawn Sanders asks, "Dennis, was your favorite car of all time?" Oh my dear God, no. This is literally like asking a mother what her favorite child is. I every different car for different purposes. I can't really say that. I really can't. I honestly I can't. That's literally that's almost the most impossible question in my life. Yeah, so it's literally it that is honestly my favorite car of all time is my 72 Charger because I've owned it for 40 years now. So I guess that. Yep. PCB Po 23. I only go to Vegas December to February. Yep. And the best part of all, the lights are on from 4 o'clock on. So the strip is all lit up. And if you have to go to Fremont Street, Fremont Street is absolutely phenomenal now. They have live music playing all the time. There's great places to eat. Parking's not that expensive. The casinos are a little dingy, but that's kind of the vibe for it's nice. Uh yeah, dry heat like an oven. Oh, a 69 Camaro SS. Cool. That's so cool. It's just an SS or is a an RSSS? Because I know did that. Let's see. G Canada. You've never been here in the summer. Last day of spring last year, I was 104 with humidity. It was like 79 in New York City, and it was farther south. We only have winter and summer. It's always humid. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. The New York City is the same way. I grew up there. I actually like Florida. Yeah, it gets hot for 6 months, but it rains. You don't ever get stagnant heat. You get rain in the summer, and it'll go up to 92, 93. Rain, cool off. It'll be humid, whatever. But then in the winter, it's not that cold. So it's okay. My Dawn Sanders, your 72 Charger was your first beautiful baby. Yes, yes, it is. Ah, mine, 67. Nice. Cool. I think I missed something, but it's okay. Yeah. So it's been a lot. Let's see. She kind of loves Florida. Plan on 6 months of there when I retire. Okay. Just make sure you don't drive slow in the left lane and don't wear black socks to the beach. I see that way too much. But yeah, I mean, if you pick the right parts of Florida, it's actually pretty nice and kind of quiet. Unless you don't like quiet, I would stay away from the Tampa area. It's not that great. Uh, Up north is nice. It's a little more rural, kind of quiet. And then down north of Miami is actually insane, but there's a lot of things to do. So you kind of pay with that. It's a little more expensive. Orlando is sheer hell. I would tell you to avoid that area with all due respect. That place is miserable. It is just it's terrible. One of my favorite places on God's green earth, Crystal River. KG Canada, Crystal River bound. Been looking at real estate there for years. Yeah, there's a place called Ozella, and it's just south of Crystal River. And where's it north? The power plant is just north of Ozell. I love the area. This place called Inverness, a little few miles from there. Really nice, small towns, really wonderful people. Ozella Trail ends at a place called Pexel Port Cove, Old Florida. One of the greatest places to go eat. They literally, you overlook the water. They have a full bar. The beer is cold. The food's always fresh. Really great area. Nice back roads. Really nice place to go hang out and live. Let's see. PCB Po 23. I lived in Orlando for the last 5 years. Too damn hot. I want to move back to the Panhandle. Orlando. See, people don't comprehend this, and you can picture, you can point, you can actually attest to this. Once you start getting away from the beaches, get in the middle of Florida, it is painfully hot. Painfully hot. It is ungodly hot, because a lot of times you end up not having any wind. You'll get your rainstorm, but they'll be like calm, and it'll be 96 degrees outside and just humid and calm. And so you basically just melting in a sauna. So, but if you're near the beaches, that's because like the Miccosukee and all the tribes that were here early, they lived on the coast because it was comfortable and their food was right there, but it was also comfortable. It didn't cool at night, but it only got to, 85 during the day. It's a hell of a lot better than Orlando near 100. You ever partied up on South Beach? No. No, what about Al? No, I have not. I've been to South Beach. South Beach is just that's too crazy for me. Even in my craziest days, no. That's a whole different tax bracket down there too. No. G County knows. Yep, that whole area. It is as phenomenal. Jamie, did you like the Cannibal Run movies growing up? Absolutely, because all the people that I loved, like you had Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. in that. You had Burt Reynolds. You had Dom DeLuise. You had this really interesting cast. It was funny. There were a lot of different cars in it. It's based on a real story. The Gumball Rally. Is it Gumball Rally? No, I forgot what it was. But it's based on a real race across the United States, but they just made it silly. I love that movies. I watch them as often as I can. I even like the second one. The second one's still good. The chemistry between those guys, because that's when the era where you had people that were in show business that were actually friends, and you could see it on film, and it really came out in the movie. Like Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. are very good friends, and you can feel that chemistry when they had all their scenes. And then the outtakes from that movie are even funnier than the movie, because they were just people that knew each other, so they would bust each other's balls to actually have fun. And that was just a good old time. That was one of those fun movies. It was really fun movie. Gee, Canada, my parents go to that geezer heaven, the Villages now. Place is packed full of Canadians. Yeah, the Villages. The highest STD rates in the United States. Grandma and Grandpa getting it on. Yeah, actually, the Villages is now spreading through like 2 counties. It has become terrifyingly huge. Let's see. Florida, Dawn Sanders, Florida is fabulous if you live in the right place. Oh my God, the Cannibal Run movies are epic. That is when movies were genuinely funny. Yes, because the people actually were funny and they actually knew each other and they wanted to do a project and have fun. That's just like with Young Frankenstein, where they got Gene Hackman. He begged basically to be in the movie, and he played the hermit, and he just absolutely had fun with it. He's the most serious actor out there, and just absolutely. And he made the greatest improvised line ever when the monster's running out the door. He's like, "Where you going? I was just about to make espresso." That was fully improvised. Ooh, The Wraith. I need to watch that. PCP Pro 23. I need to watch that. Right, the Wraith. Is that paper? Oh, there we go. I am actually really writing that down. Or I could watch this back, but might as well write it down. Yeah. Yeah, actually, the person that held that record before that was Dennis Collins. He's the guy, a friend of the guy that does Fast and Loud, Richard Rollins. He's Richard Rollins' friend. Dennis Collins actually set the speed record in I think they actually even did it in a Ferrari, which is even weirder because usually you do it in a car no one notices. Was it a Ferrari or something else? But they had like auxiliary gas tanks in the back, so they had to stop. It's wild. If you read the story about Dennis Collins doing that, it's absolutely insane. What they did to shatter those records is nuts. Oh yeah, of course, Out About Al knows all about it. The Wraith is a killer movie. It has a Dodge Interceptor concept car. Oh, no kidding. Oh, I love Dazed and Confused. I absolutely love that movie. Yeah, I was right. Vintage 76 Garage, Ferrari, yeah, with the auxiliary gas tank in the trunk. Absolutely insanity. What'd they do, like 22 hours? Some insane amount of time, coast to coast. Ah, yes, Dawn. Blazing Saddles, yes. 1975, The Wraith with Charlie Sheen. Really? You sure it wasn't Martin Sheen? Because that's kind of young for Charlie. I think it was Martin Sheen. I need to watch this. Oh, 1985. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense, Charlie Sheen. All right, G Canada. Have fun. Oh, you'll be listening. Cool. I had fun walking the dog. I'm almost it's almost been 2 hours. I feel like I'm doing a gunk cast at this point. uh and I still gotta get up early. Uh okay. So thanks everybody. This was fun. I like doing these. I'm still working on I'm still working on kind of working on a co-host, working on concept this. I'll be fixing this office soon to make it look a little less cluttered because it is cluttered. And wow. Before I go, I got to read this. So the 32 was what Richard Rollins did. The new record is less than 24. It's over 3,000 miles. That is craziness. Absolutely craziness. My God. On that bombshell, I think we have to say buonasera. So thanks a lot, everyone. And I will see you I'll see you next week with one of these, and I will have a video out soon. It's a pretty good one. It's useful for the home mechanic. So I'll catch everyone soon. Thanks everyone that participated and everybody that's going to be watching this later on. And as always, if you have a cool old car or something classic, take it out. You'll make someone's day, probably even your own. Domane. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for watching to this point. And as always, if you have a cool car or something fun to drive, take it out. You'll make someone's day, probably your own.